everyone. This is Jesse Valencia with WME Theaters, and you are watching WME Movie Bites. Our guest today is Aaron Wolf, who both wrote, directed, and stars in his new film Tar, alongside Academy Award-nominated actors Timothy Bottoms and Graham Greene. The film is playing tomorrow at both the WME Village 8 and the Sholo 5. Aaron, thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Man, it's great to be here, and I'm so glad to be showing Tar in Arizona.
Nice.
Things are going to get sticky.
Are we the only place that you're showing it in Arizona so far?
I don't know. I wish I'd had all the info in front of me. I don't know exactly where we're playing. It's all on tarthemovie.com, where different locations. But yeah, I think maybe.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this film. It's a thriller horror about an ancient creature that lurks beneath the La Brea tar pits. What first inspired you to write this story?
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles, and so I would go to the La Brea tar pits for different like field trips. And I also was super into Indiana Jones and different and so that made me I wanted to be a filmmaker and an actor and an archaeologist all at once. And so I would go there and think, man, this place is like a real Indiana Jones set. And then also I would like go in my backyard. My dad had built me a treehouse, and I'd pretend to be Indiana Jones back there too, also creating movies in my head. So then as I've gone on in my career and made, I make movies and act and direct, I was thinking, I came up with a horror concept and some characters. And then Tim Nuttall, the co-writer, and myself, we were right down the road from the La Brea tar pits, our office. And our office was going to be torn down. We were getting evicted because they were building the LA subway. And we were like, we want to make these characters and this concept that we're going to do about the La Brea tar pits. And let's make it a fun throwback creature horror adventure movie with some archaeology and stuff too. So let's do all of it. So that was the inspiration, the long-winded explanation for how this came about. And then we found out there was a true legend, Native American legend, based on the tar pits and what happens underneath. So we dug in and incorporated all this real mythology into it.
Wow. Okay, so not only did you co-write the movie, you're a triple threat with this film. You co-wrote it, you act in it, and you directed it, which is amazing to me because in film school, and a lot of industry people I've spoken to have told me that getting a film made that you both write and star in, much less direct yourself in, is one of the hardest types of projects to get off the ground, if not impossible. So what can you tell us about your path to seeing this project realized? I mean, when you have it, you co-wrote it, you wrote it, you star in it, you direct it, you going out there trying to get people to back this up, and they're going, okay, how did you do it?
Well, I'll go with the starring in first. That part kind of came about for two reasons. I've acted my whole life. I did the Groundlings out here, which is an improv group, and went to NYU Film and Acting School. So I've been doing acting my whole life and done it. That wasn't the reason I was in it. The first thing was Timothy Bottoms, who I really wanted to be in the movie as the star. We talked a lot about the movie, and he was like, I don't know, he's kind of semi-retired, so he was like, I don't know, do I really want to do it? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, Tim, I really want you to play my dad. And he said, oh, you'd be my son? And I said, yeah, I'd be your son. We do this together. And then he said, you know what? I'm in. I'm doing it. And that was it. And he was in. And so then I was definitely locked in then. And then the other part is in doing an independent film that's not where we don't have tens of millions of dollars to make the movie, but we still want to create a new world and place. The best way to get an actor to be available at all times is I can always be available for me.
Right.
So whenever we had to change locations, whenever we had to do a pickup on the spot, whenever we had to do a pickup a bit later, I could always do it. So it actually made it simpler. And then the directing, starring thing, I surrounded myself with great people. And so people were into the concept, and that's how financing happens and stuff.
Right.
And I've been in other stuff before. So it was just like, all right, this seems like it can work. Because you're right. Otherwise, it's a very hard thing to pull off. For me, it was the directing to acting isn't. It's like, all right, I'm gonna pick up a hammer, and then you know what? I don't need the hammer anymore. Let me pick up the screwdriver because that's what I need for this part. Screwdriver acting, the hammer for directing.
Wow. Now, what was it like working with Timothy Bottoms and Graham Greene on screen? I mean, what was that experience like working with them?
You know, they both became buddies of mine, partly because they're such good people. Um, they're just really good people, and they're really giving in uh, how they work and how they let me learn from them, because I don't know what they know. Like, they've been in big Oscar movies and been nominated for Golden Globes and all and Academy Awards and stuff. So I just sunk it all in. And whenever I've gotten to work with actors who are just, very experienced and have so many accolades, I listen and I react and I let them add to the script when they want to add. And, I'm not stuck to one to like, oh, this is the best line in the world. They might have a better thing that they want to bring to the character. Graham came up with a lot of improv stuff that I then react to. So if he says something, I'm like, just go. What do you want to say here, as the character? And then we stop, and then we just riff, and then I react to him because he connects so well with his eyes when you're working with him. And Timothy, the same thing. Very different styles, Timothy Bottoms and Graham Greene, both in film. You went to film school and you studied some of their movies, I'm sure. Last
Yeah.
Picture Show's like a staple. And
Bug
and
Management.
Timothy had a whole different method. He was more like threw himself in a different way. And so then I learned from him in that way. So it's quite remarkable to work with these guys who are just people who have stories to tell beyond belief. And also just every way they work, I would just try to learn. That was my way more than going to NYU. That was my film and acting school, working with these guys.
Wow. Do you have a favorite memory from production specifically?
From production or with the actors?
Either anything from start to finish, the making of the film.
I'll talk about Timothy real quick. Something with him. What I loved about Timothy Bottoms is the man has done it all. He's started being a star when he was like 19. He was part of the Studio 54 crew and had all those stories to tell. When he stepped on our set, and he's been in all kinds of big movies with the big legends of ever. And when he stepped on our set, he like threw himself in, and it was like, he's not this guy with all these accolades. He's here to make this movie. And the funniest thing I'll remember is, at times we're covered in tar. It's called Tar. It's a fun adventure horror movie about the La Brea Tar Pits. So we're covered in tar, right? And then we're done with one of the days, or he's done. He's wrapped for the day. This stuff is sticky and gross and sticks to you like it sticks to your shirt and every hair particle on you. So we're done for the day, and he's given his all, and it was an action scene. And then he just, in front of the whole crew, he just takes off his shirt and takes off his pants and just is like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going to change now. And he was laughing about it, but he just stripped down to just his underwear, and he was just off to go to the dressing room. But he was like, I've given my all, and now I'm going to change. So we all just got to see Tim just walk through the whole set, get almost naked on our set after throwing himself into the day's work.
That's great. Wow. All right. I'm sorry. The image is
hilarious. I know, it's funny. I can tell you a Graham one too if you want. But
yeah, let's go. Let's rip it.
Why not? The guy's been in so many. I mean, Die Hard. What more do you want? But so he with Graham, he has a different style. But what his style, which is great, is he really showed me how to connect to the lens without looking at the lens. He does this thing where one eye almost looks at the camera lens, which, that's a faux pas. You're not supposed to look into a lens. That breaks the wall.
Right.
So he almost does it while not doing it. And he showed me how to do that, which is something I'd never been shown by any actor I'd worked with before. And now I I'll take that to my grave and always use it, because it's a way. I realized that in watching some of his work, like Wind River, I watched pretty recently, which is a fantastic movie he did like
Great film.
last year. Yeah, maybe 2 years ago, last year, and him and Jeremy Renner. And I watched how he was doing that in that movie, and the other actors don't quite do it. I'm just like, man, that's one of the ways you just connect so well to the audience without people realizing it. So it was just another interesting acting technique that I just felt was really cool to be able to steal from him. I call it the Graham Greene School of Acting University.
Top secret.
Top secret that I just gave away.
Right. So with the industry being in a state of constant flux due to the pandemic, and also releasing your own film in theaters under these conditions, as distributors continue to pull some of the more tentpole films from the big screen, where do you see the future of independent film going?
To predict the future in 2020 is impossible. I'll tell you what I hope, because releasing a film during this time is insane to say the least. I mean, look, doing all these, like I just was on ABC and it was Zoom. Like I normally would have gone into studio.
Right.
So all of this remote stuff is crazy, and theaters are like Regal theaters are all shutting down for now, but theaters like WME are open. And what I hope is that the independent film will make a comeback because of this. Because being a scrappy filmmaker, that's what can survive.
Mm-hmm.
We can keep doing this. We can keep figuring out ways to make this work, because that's what we've been doing our whole careers. I worked at Warner Brothers and Disney before creating stuff. Things move at a snail pace compared to what we can do. Making acting and pilots and stuff at Warner Brothers, it was like it has to go through 10 levels of executives just to get something made.
Yeah.
Whereas we can just go and do it. So my hope is that the theaters like you and films like ours can team together and say, look, we can bring entertainment. It's not going to have $100 million behind it, but you know we will do? Tell a fun story and let you escape for an hour and a half. And it won't just be money, 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 effects, effects, effects. It's actually got fun characters, throwback elements, whatever you want to bring to whatever genre. So I hope there's going to be a new boom as we see, like, because studios are pulling all their stuff back. So where's there an opening for more movies like our movie? We were lucky that we were already going to be having a distribution, but you know, for the next one that we do, I can't wait to see what we can accomplish, and for filmmakers out there, what they can accomplish, because there is this opening now where you can be creative, and our limitations can breed creativity.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned Indiana Jones as being one of your favorite movies. So what is one of your favorite memories of seeing a movie in a theater?
Favorite memories of seeing a movie in a theater? Just one that pops off the top of my head is there was a movie called Crimson Tide that I saw when I was really little, and I saw it at the Cinerama Dome, which is my single favorite theater ever. It's not open right now, but it's the screen actually wraps around you, and I'm one of those guys who actually goes by myself to the theater, sits in the front, and I hide my phone under my jacket to take notes as I'm watching it, because I feel like then I'm the most immersed. But this started when I saw Crimson Tide. I don't know how old I was, but I was a little kid, and sitting next to me in that theater was Quentin Tarantino watching Crimson Tide by himself right next to me, doing the exact same thing with a notepad. And that gave me the idea to do this myself, in a way. I mean, he didn't have a cell phone, but he had a notepad. And I just will never forget watching this movie, watching him take notes and sitting next to him, knowing a bit who he was, you know, not to the extent that I do now, obviously, but just knowing him and being like, man, that's such a cool thing. Like, I want to do that. And so that's just a memory I'll always have. And I go to the Cinerama Dome at least a number of times a month and do that by myself.
Wow. That's such an awesome story.
Yeah, I've never told that story before. I just thought of it.
That's awesome, man. That is so cool. Crimson Tide. Wow. Quentin
Crimson
Tarantino.
Tide, Quentin Tarantino. He might have a credit on the movie. I think he did punch up dialogue or something. I don't know, but he was just next to me by himself, and I was there with my dad.
That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our moviegoers in the White Mountains before they see the film?
Oh yeah. So again, like in terms of influences and what this movie is, Tar is about. And you can go to your website or tarthemovie.com to see the show times and stuff. Or I'm posting constantly at the Aaron Wolf. That's my hashtag. But on all social. But I love movies that pay homage or homage, depending on how snobby you want to sound, to the movies of the past. So with this movie, I wanted to create a new world and also not do what we're seeing all the time right now, which is these,
Rehash.
with horror movies like gore fests or supernatural stuff with all kinds of effects. I wanted to bring practical effects back. I wanted you to see actors you wouldn't normally see in a movie like this, and I wanted it to have a lot of throwback element and bring fun back to horror. So it's adventure and horror and fun. And you can laugh and you can have a good time and all that stuff that I remember as a kid watching. And I feel we're lacking with thrillers and adventure movies and stuff like that. It's all like big set pieces and like gross out, or you truly are terrified. And there's jumps in our movie, don't get me wrong, but it's not a
Not all jump
um,
scares.
no, it's fun. Let's go have fun at the movies, especially in 2020. And it's Halloween time, and so much has been canceled for Halloween. Well, Tar is not canceled. We're bringing it to you, to the theater, so you can have fun with your friends and go to the movies and have a good escape time at the movies. Not think about anything else.
Wow. Thank you so much, Aaron. And for those watching, Tar, directed by our guest Aaron Wolf and co-starring Timothy Bottom and Graham Greene, is playing tomorrow at the WME Village 8 in Sholo 5. I'm Jesse Valencia, and thank you for watching WME Movie Bites.